Hey everyone, what's up? And welcome back to my channel. It's Josh, and today's video is all about two of my favorite JDM Seikos. This here on the left is the Seiko SARX 035, and then here on the right we've got the Seiko SARX 055. I've had both of these guys now for probably a little over a year, and it's interesting, in the past couple of weeks I have been getting so many questions in the comments and over on Instagram about these two watches. And the funny thing is, again, I did the videos on both of these probably, again, pushing a year ago now, but there's been renewed interest, I guess, in these two models here, and I thought I would come on and do a video and address some of the questions that I've been getting from people. I haven't ever done kind of like a side-by-side comparison of these two. Most of the videos that I've done are, again, just about each one independently. So I thought that's what we'd do today. Now, if you guys are familiar at all with these watches, you know that these two are basically like kissing cousins. I mean, they are so similar in most regards, in almost every way. And yet there are some very key differences between the two. So I'm going to put on screen here kind of like the product family or the model line here that we're looking at. So the 30 series is the SARX 033 and then the SARX 035. These two, of course, as you may know, are made of stainless steel with DeoShield coating over top. The SARX 033 is the white dial, and then the SARX 035 is the lacquered black dial. Then on the right hand side we've got the SARX 50 series, and that starts out with the SARX 055, which of course is kind of like the, people call it like the baby Grand Seiko Snowflake. It kind of has like that frost type dial. It's a silver dial though, not a white dial. And then on the right here we've got the SARX 057, and of course that is the black lacquer dial, very similar to the SARX 035. And then these two here in the 50 series are made of titanium, again with DeoShield coating over top. So across the board, very almost identical, right, design and presentation across both of the 30 series and the 50 series. And then in all four of these that we're looking at here, of course, we've got the 6R15 movement, and with its 510 Sprawn 510 mainspring, that gives us 50 hours of power reserve. So all in all, a very compelling package no matter which one you choose. The 30 series is about $750 to $800, and then the 50 series is just about $1,000. So there is some difference there, and I think it really depends which one you go with on what colored dial you're looking at. And again, we'll get into that in a bit. Okay, so let's take a closer look at these two, and you can see, let's ignore the color of the dial for the most part, but you can see here very similar design and execution in both of these guys. We've got the same kind of 5-piece bracelet here, 5-piece links, so we've got a rounded outer link, and then a more squared off kind of like prism-like inner link, and again that's true on both of these. The outer links and inner links are brushed, and then in the middle of those, in between them, we've got a beautiful kind of like polished, mirror polished accent link. And again, these are true 5-piece links. The clasp is very similar, as you can see. It's brushed with push button action. It's a very small, very comfortable, in my opinion, clasp to wear. You can see on both we've got a machine clasp in there. Again, really nicely done. All the edges are quite well, machined and polished out. Wears really nicely on the wrist, closes really nicely. You can hear that we've got a really nice kind of push action there. I like, again, that these are dress watches and they still gave us that push button deployment there, so it makes it really easy to open and close. Again, we've got DeoShield on them. If we look at the sides of the cases, very similar. You'd have a hard time, I think, if we were looking at two of the black dials, I think you'd have kind of a hard time picking out which is which. Very similar case design. We've got a beautiful kind of a curved case here, so it sits really nicely on your wrist. This is not a super tall watch either. I think the height on these guys is between 12 and 13 millimeters, and there's this very slight difference in height between the stainless steel and the titanium. Now you'll notice that the hands will change depending on which version you get. The black dials all get all silver hands and indices. The lighter dials, so the silver and the white, either get blue hands and a blue seconds hand, and then the SARX 055 here, we've got silver hands and a blue seconds hand, which I actually really like. Let's take these guys off their little blocks here for a minute, and I'll show you the case backs. Again, very similar in the overall design. So on both, we've got an exhibition case back. This is a hard Lex case back, as Seiko tends to do here on the Presage line. So that was the SARX 035, and then here it is again, very same design on the SARX 055. So you can see, I mean, in every way, almost, these two are super, super similar. Beyond the material differences and the color differences, of course, it's almost the same watch. So when you're looking between these two, it really comes down to, do you want the stainless steel or do you want the titanium? I brought out my kitchen scale. You guys have seen this before. And I'm going to do a weight comparison between these two guys. And that hopefully will give us a better idea, I think, of the differences in terms of weight between these two. So let's go ahead and do the stainless steel first. This is going to be the heavier one. And these are, by the way, both sized for me. So it's not like one has more links than the other. They both fit perfectly on my wrist. So let's go ahead and do the stainless steel. And it looks like we're weighing in at, oops, I need to shift this to grams. So we're looking at about 140 grams sized, again, for me on the SARX 035. Okay, so keep that in mind, 140. Now let's try the SARX 055, and again, in the hand, this is titanium. This is substantially lighter, so let's see what that guy comes in at. 95 grams. Okay, so you can see that the titanium is definitely lighter than the stainless steel at 95 grams versus 140. Now next up, you guys are in for a real treat. I am actually going to shut up for an entire 2 minutes because what I want to show you is some footage that I took throughout the day yesterday of these two guys under different lights, indoors, outdoors, throughout the day, to give you a good idea of what the difference, I think, between the stainless steel and the titanium is. And I think that that's what a lot of people were asking for, in the comments and messages that I got was, IRL, what is the difference between the stainless steel and the titanium? Some people were concerned that the titanium is too dull. Others are complaining or, concerned that the stainless steel is too shiny. So I'm going to roll the footage, and I hope it gives you a better idea of these two guys kind of side by side. And I will meet you back here right after that. Okay, so did that help you guys at all? I hope so. I hope it answered some of the questions that people had. The differences, like you saw, are not night and day, at least in my opinion. I think that the big difference, honestly, in watching that footage back after I shot it also, is that the center links here on the stainless steel, because this whole bracelet is so shiny and has so much luster, the kind of center links, those mirror polished accents here between the outer and inner links, I think kind of tend to fade back a little bit more on the stainless steel than they do on the titanium. On the titanium, because the outer and inner links are so matte and they almost don't reflect light any, I actually think that the inner links here really, really shine. And so because that's where you're going to get that reflection, that glimmer, that is glimmer a word? I don't know. But that kind of like sparkle of light, you're going to get it on that kind of mirror polished accent link. And I actually really think that that's a nice way to do it, because that's what those things are there for. They are there to, accent the overall design of this bracelet. And one thing that I really like, and I've said this in other videos as well, is that on the SARX 055 in particular, I think that the silver kind of like snowflake face is so dazzling in a way that it actually is complemented by the fact that the bracelet is a little bit more matte and a little bit less shiny. And then yet, of course, right, we've got these mirror polished indices, and then we've got the mirror polished accents here on the bracelet. So I actually think that this is a really, really nice combination. And I don't know that I would go with I don't know if I'd go with the 50 series if I was looking for a black dial. Because I think that the black here, this is a very, very beautifully polished, lacquered dial. I think that this whole design really matches a more luster, a bracelet with more luster on it. So that's about it, guys. I hope that this whole video has helped to answer some of the questions that you all might have had. I hope it gave you a better look at how these two, really wear differently in real life. They're just such amazing watches. I really, really think that, because of the styling, because of how minimal and modern they are, I think that this is a great watch for anybody, any, man or woman to have in their collection. Any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments below, or, find my Instagram handle in the description below that. I'll talk to you guys soon, and take care.